Hi, my name is Tim Johnson. In this video, I'd like to explain the differences between alcohol abuse, alcohol addiction and alcohol dependence, how they're connected, how one can lead to another, and also the fact that there's a lot of confusion around those three terms. And having experienced them all myself, and one leading to another at various periods of my life, I think it's important to make a distinction between the three, so you can perhaps recognize the various stages that perhaps you're involved in or someone close to you is experiencing. First of all, alcohol abuse. Alcohol abuse can be termed as things like binge drinking, and perhaps starts with that, and perhaps drink driving or reckless behaviour that's caused and continues to be caused by excessive drinking and regular drinking of alcohol to extreme limits. That's in fact abusing alcohol. And if this, when there's negative consequences involved, which there always is with abuse of alcohol generally, then, and it continues to happen, this can then perhaps lead on to the next stage over a period of time, which is alcohol addiction. And this is where there's a bit of confusion between addiction and dependence. Alcohol addiction is when you are taking in and abusing alcohol, and there are consistent physical, social, emotional and consequences that are always negative, and yet you continue to crave the alcohol and continue that behavior even though the consequences are always negative, and you continue to seek the alcohol out and crave it, and that to achieve that same effect, the tolerance increases and you drink more and more and more, even though there's negative consequences involved consistently. Then that's addiction to alcohol. It's psychological. And then as the tolerance increases and you take more and more alcohol in, that then can become a dependence on alcohol, which is the end stage really, if you like, and where I found myself 3 years ago. And it doesn't happen overnight, alcohol dependence, and I'll explain alcohol dependence in a second and how to dig yourself out of that hole if you reach it. Also, it's important to note that if you recognize these stages, not always that binge drinking ends up in addiction, and not always addiction ends up in dependence. There are different stages, and it's important to recognize those stages so perhaps you can deal with it yourself at the time, or if it's a relative or a friend, help them deal with it. Alcohol dependence happens over a period of time, and for many years, for over 30 years if you like, I abused alcohol. Definitely there were periods in my life when I abused it, and I think, you know, very quickly after that I became addicted to it at various periods in my life, and then perhaps stopped and started, abused it, became addicted to it again, stopped. And then towards the end stage, if you like, I increased the level of my drinking, where it moved from addiction to physical dependence, not just psychological dependence, but physical dependence. And this is where it becomes really dangerous and life-threatening, because all the negative consequences, the social consequences, the physical consequences, you know, avoiding participating in normal occasions without alcohol, all this then leads on to this dependence. But this physical dependence then becomes the real issue, because what actually happens is when you take alcohol on board, the neurotransmitters in your brain, which are very finely balanced to fire and release many different chemicals. Probably a lot of them you'll recognize, certainly dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, oxytocin, all of these things that the brain, and many other chemicals that the brain uses to balance and achieve homeostasis in the body, are affected by alcohol, and it knocks this balance out, and the transmitters are sedated, if you like, and less chemicals are produced, which is where, when the brain becomes sedated, where intoxication comes in, and we experience sedation and not recognizing negative consequences and getting ourselves into much trouble. This is where that comes in. But over a period of time, as your tolerance increases and you drink more and more, the brain, which is obviously extremely clever, begins to adjust to the fact that you're drinking alcohol every day, and those to achieve the same results, if you like, you're drinking more and more. The brain adjusts the amount of chemicals and the electrical impulses it's firing to adjust the fact that alcohol is always present. So as that happens and you're drinking more and more each day, and it becomes something that you have to do, the brain's adjusted. And if you don't take any alcohol in for a relatively short period of time, and for me eventually it got to the stage where if I didn't drink for maybe 3, 4, 5 hours, if you like, even drinking heavily prior to that, then the brain needs the alcohol to balance it, because it's adjusted, and it can't readjust overnight. It takes a period of time, quite a lengthy period of time to readjust. So what happens is then you experience these extremely unpleasant and occasionally life-threatening, in certain situations, withdrawal symptoms, which those of you who are dependent on alcohol will recognize, and they are the crippling, first of all, anxiety, the shaking, the delirium tremens, which are mini seizures happening in your brain because it needs the alcohol to fire the synapses and fire the neurotransmitters. The shaking, the uncontrollable shaking of your legs, your hands, horrible feelings, anxiety, your heart racing, the uncontrollable sweating, which is your adrenaline, because of the effect it's had on your adrenal glands and your hypothalamus. You can't control the body, can't control its temperature, so you get this hot and cold and sweats and shakes, horrible heart racing, perhaps your heart trying to miss beats, the horrific heartburn and burning sensations you get in your stomach, the nausea, the vomiting, and perhaps, in some cases, and certainly I experienced this during my period, when I was withdrawing from alcohol, hallucinations and seeing all sorts of dark shapes and things shooting around everywhere. Once you've got to this stage, alcohol dependence, and you need alcohol to actually function, you become very frightened of not having alcohol and going through this withdrawal. And that's when you find yourself in this extremely dark place where you're committing slow suicide, because you eventually will die a very slow, painful death if it continues. There's no doubt about it. But not just that, you isolate yourself from everything and everyone that is close to you. It is extremely lonely. You think there's absolute helplessness. You can't see a way out of it. You can't see a way of climbing out of that dark hole because you're scared, you're frightened of experiencing the withdrawal, those horrible things, that those feelings. So you're constantly keeping yourself topped up at a level. Your tolerance is increasing and increasing, and the dependence is increasing, till it becomes at a level where it's extremely dangerous to your life and it will kill you. There's no doubt. And stopping very suddenly can, although it's a very small percentage of people, it can cause death. But, it's the fact that you can't see a way out of it. it's important to recognize those 3 stages so you can be aware of them and aware of anyone that's close to you going through them. But what I will say, a message of hope at the end of this video, because you know, this is 3 years ago now since my life is improved, but having taught, well, improved immeasurably, let me just say, in every single way. Please look at my video on alcohol withdrawal, which is on this channel as well, which will go through in great depth how to get through it and how to help yourself get through it. But it's really important to note at this stage that it is not impossible to get out of this hole. You may feel helpless, you may have given up hope, but there's one thing that's extremely important which you must recognize, and I've spoken to, I don't know, maybe thousands now of people who've been through this over not just over the past years, but the periods I spent in rehab and you know, and mixing with people who have the same issues as myself. But certainly since this channel's begun, there's one common thread to get out of this. And it's not simple and it's not easy, but you have to recognize it. You have to want to live more than you want to commit slow suicide and die. It's simple as that. You have to want to die on your feet and not live on your knees, as I always say. And you have to want to do it for yourself. You have to want to really want to live. It may be because you want to see your children grow up. It may be because you want to see your grandchildren. It may be just because you realize that you love life and it's a privilege and it's a miracle and you want to survive. But you have to want to live more than you want to commit a slow suicide in a dark room like I was doing. Once you recognize that, and recognize that to do that you've got to stop this behavior and you've got to change, then you can seek help. And that help might be from a health professional if you're worried about the consequences of stopping. It also might be from various support groups. It might be from AA, it might be from Smart Recovery, and any number of other people who may be able to help you. It might be from channels like this or many other channels. But it's really important that you seek help, you seek support, recognize you need to change, you have to change, and most importantly, you want to change and you want to live. That's the only way out. But there is a way out. However hopeless you may feel at this moment, however impossible it may seem at the moment, there is a way out. I promise you that. So I hope that's been useful for you. Please subscribe, please like the videos, please share them if you think they may help someone else. And Carpe Diem, seize the day today, make today that you want to change your life. And please God you do. Much love to you all. Thank you very much indeed. Bye bye.